This week on Supercars Talk, Chev teams call for parity updates after Mustangs dominate at the Bend. The big news this week is that the Bend signed a 3-year extension to the contract to host the 500 there for, the next 3 years. Strangely, this was announced before the weekend. Were they anticipating the racing to be bad? And was the racing bad? It was a long watch. It was kind of what we expected, that the field would spread out. No safety cars, which was probably actually a good thing with the stupid rules. I will get onto that a bit later. The co-drivers all did a really good job. I thought there was no one that you really looked at and went, hey, they're out of their depth, pack their bags, get out of there kind of thing. In general, everyone did a pretty good job. There was a few interesting things during the race. Yeah, is it going to be a classic? No, but not every race is a classic. Bathurst is coming up. Anyway, the actual big news of the week was that Ford had those parity adjustments before the Bend. They were probably going to be competitive at the Bend anyway, judging by what happened earlier on at the year at, say, SMP, and then the Bend being similar to that. Was it all the parity adjustments, or, we had Larko on the TV all weekend saying how great everything was. So they had that little bit taken out from behind the front wheels on the side skirt. The rear wing was moved a little bit back and higher, I think. So, and then the angle went from 10 degrees maximum to 9 degrees maximum. So apparently that was the same amount of downforce, but in a slightly different position. And the side mirrors were changed from the Australian spec ones to the US spec ones. Obviously, we must have to have a slightly bigger mirror to meet Australian standards. It was good to see, more cars being competitive this weekend. Will be interesting to see what happens when we get to Bathurst. One little story that probably should have been bigger but flew a bit under the radar was that some new wheels were trialled over the weekend. So as Brodie Kostecki calls them, the Beyblades. I think that must be something where they stick out and catch hot. Anyway, I should get onto popular culture and find out what these Beyblades things are. Anyway, these new wheels are supposed to stop the interlocking, but look exactly the same. It's hard to look exactly the same if you're fixing the interlocking problem. The photo I did see, it looked like they were a lot flatter, whereas the ones that are currently on the cars kind of loop around and cut in a bit, whereas these looked a bit flatter, but the same kind of pattern spoke and everything. Let's, just bring them on, take one problem out of the equation. Obviously, there is the cost things and that, but as you said, there is solutions to phasing them through. So let's do that rather than continuing down the path. As long as they do work. We had a few new looks for the weekend. Premier released their Enduro look again. It was based off the 2010 HRT car. Yes, I can see with the colours though looked a bit more like that 2008 Bathurst, the special Holden livery with the silver. I thought that was more the colours that they went for with the kind of the design off the. Anyway, I liked it. It looked good. Once again, I'm not sure if it's just because of the difference and new exciting things, but once again, I thought that was a really smart car. And last year, I thought the white was a big improvement over the black earlier on in the year, and this year once again, I think that's a step forward. We saw some new liveries on wildcards as well. The MSR wildcard Sheridan Rentals, those colours shouldn't really work, but for some reason the Sheridan Rentals cars always look great on track. The Tickford one, it was a livery. It was plain and they stuck some stickers on it. The Fullwood car as well. I don't know. in theory, it should have worked. I really like, say, the SCT or the white Pizza Hut car. Yeah, and this one, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. Did anyone else check out the TCR racing over the weekend? Okay. So when they took off on the line, I thought, I've seen push bikes take off faster at the lights when they've been in the wrong gear. After about the first half lap of the race, I sped the telecast up to 1.5 speed. When you're on the computer with KO, you can do that. I find it quite good for going through all the talking bits between sessions and whatnot. That made them look like, you know, kind of normal speed. It was, to me, it was a tough watch. Then after race 1 and the constant talk race 2 about, that was the closest finish ever in TCR history. It was 0.002 of a second. The bloke was 5 seconds up the road and he had a 5-second time penalty. It was not a close finish. It was, Anyway, they do sound, I love that turbo flutter noise. That just, that does it for me. Turns me on. Sexy as. Now, for the safety car stuff. So I'd seen a few interviews with drivers and stuff during the week before and where they were confused about it and why do we need to complicate things. A lot of agreement, I think, with what I'd kind of been saying the week before. Yeah, what are we trying to solve with this? Anyway, sure enough, when they were testing it during the practice session, I'm pretty sure I'd mentioned about someone, slowing down slightly earlier and someone slowing down, or in this case, not slowing down at all and just plowing into the back of someone. Probably pretty lucky that it was the team owner that actually crashed into the back of one of the team cars. I'm sure there would have been a lot more made out of it if, say, it was Brodie Kostecki drilling the back of Brock Feeney or something like that. But no, it's all cool because, it's only, Jamie screwing over the sister car in the team. I did find it funny though. Basically, you're watching the telecast and you could, there's that Simpsons episode, I think, where Ralph, and they do that replay thing where, Bart goes, you can see when his heart breaks when Lisa turns him down. That was basically, I could imagine Scaife in the commentary booth because you could nearly hear it over the commentary, his heart breaking when he actually realised that it was Jamie doing the crashing and, he was taking out Scott Pye rather than, because it was all, it's Pye's fault. And then all of a sudden, my heart is broken. It's the chosen one, Jamie Whincup. Once again, thank God, that we didn't have a safety car during the race because, it's just stupid. Hopefully this rule is gone for Bathurst. I'm afraid that we're going to have to put up with it and we will have to deal with it at Bathurst because sure enough, something will happen there because there was a few guys that ran off over the weekend, whereas at the Bend you just go and do a bit of mowing, pick up your daffodils and off you go. Whereas at Bathurst, you go off, you're probably going to hit a wall. So there will be safety cars. Now, for the racing over the weekend, once again, I'm going to run through in reverse championship order and I'm going to try and do it quickly because these things always seem to take too long because I just waffle on and on. Anyway, kicking it off, we've got the MSR wildcard. Crick started off the race. He got taken off the road, but no replay because it was Craig Lowndes taking him off. Bit of a joke there, but I think there was a slight, they had a touch of vision of it at when they did one of those hour update things, but I would have thought not much happening in the race, maybe show, two of the wildcards taking each other. Anyway, this is all with that Cricky had just kind of run Declan Fraser off the road, he only kind of ran him off. He didn't, punt him right off. Not much was expected of this one, and we didn't really get a big result out of it. But they didn't look out of place. Fairly competent. They did all right. So a tick there. I'm glad to see them on the grid. The Tickford wildcard. Now, no idea why. Basically, the 3 wildcards didn't really get any coverage during the race. Even the Lowndes one didn't get too much TV time. Normally, that's a darling of the TV. Not sure what was going on there. But the Tickford car seemed to be the real loser of, I hardly remember it being out there. This also, though, not being on TV means they stayed out of trouble. Well, they must have. They finished 22nd. Yeah, it's okay. They didn't trash the car. Bathurst is coming up. Yeah, once again, I'd prefer to see them on the grid rather than not. The 888 wildcard. Well, Lowndesy had an eventful day. He took out Cam Crick, had another off by himself. Somehow they ended up 16th at the end of the day. It shows how much speed that those 888 cars have got. They were ahead of a lot of full-timers, and it wasn't like, it was a smooth sailing day, and they still ended up in front of full-timers. They even beat the team car of Feeney. Now, kicking it off for the full-timers, we have the Blanchard Racing Team. They finished 17th and 24th. Well done. The BJRB team, Macca Jones and Jordan Boys, the shining light of the Albury squad. They finished 14th. Well done. Evans and Smith were next up out of the 4-car team in 18th. Really, really not a great weekend for them, but on the positive side, the B team was in front of the A team. So, yeah. Premier Air Racing. Yeah. Nash Morris came in on lap 3 with a broken tyre. Dave Russell, 5-second penalty for a driving infringement. Golding got a drive through for a pit lane breach. 23rd and 25th in the race. At least the cars look good. Erebus. Cooper Murray, the only full-timer that started the race. I don't know why no one else did this. Anyway, not a bad ploy. He did move forward, though, he was doing a good job. And it's not like, when you're racing against, like, Hazelwood, Winterbottom, Garth Tander, it's not like you're playing with guys who don't know what they're doing. So, that was really good. Then the fear, of course, is how will Job go when the main guys are in? Well, he was fine. He did a really, really good job. 7th overall, really, really good from those guys. The future could be bright with a Murray-Stewart lineup at this team next year. The LeBrock and Hughes car, very, very quiet day. Finished in 12th. Didn't seem to have the pace of Betty's murdered out black car with no sponsorship on it. The BJRA team, or are they now the B team after this weekend? Decker burnt the clutch out off the start, run off the road by Cam Crick, spent a lot of time in the pits getting, I think it was the steering fixed up after that kind of, calamity. They finished the race, but they finished last. That means Jaime drops out of the top 10 and the team dropped from 6th to 8th in the team's championship. Yeah. Even the other car, they just didn't really seem to have any pace. I'm not sure what was going on. Vaughan was at the back at the start. I don't know what happened. I thought, at least he'll move forward. He didn't really. They finished up 20th. Probably the highlight of these guys for the day, we got to see Vaughan overtake Aussie Jack. He kind of went around the outside at the hairpin, I think it was. That's it. Matt Stone Racing. Front row man Cam Hill. I would have started Cam Hill and, really lent on that. Tried to get out front, go the front foot. McLeod, he didn't do a bad job, but granted, it's his first time, front row, blah, blah, blah. It's not like he's, first enduro in a 888 car kind of. Anyway, he was doing pretty good job, like pretty good start, doing a pretty good job, had that little run off, like Woody did in qualifying, some good people. Lowndes went off the same way during the race. But then once he kind of dropped back a bit, they never really raced forward from there. I'm not sure if they didn't have the pace or something was kind of a miss after the runoff or what. But yeah, they ended up 11th overall. Yeah, so much promise, so little kind of reward in the end. The Percat and Slade car, though, on the other hand, yeah, just really, really good day. What we've kind of got used to from Percat and then, you know, putting Slade with him. Only 11th in qualifying, like only, it's the kind of year Percat's been having. But yeah, only when the other team car is on the front row. But yeah, just slowly moved forward during the race. They were never going to challenge the front guys, but yeah, they were pretty much best of the rest in there. 5th at the end of the day, and that is MSR's best ever enduro finish. Yeah, they're going to need to find more pace if they want to challenge at Bathurst, but at least they were moving forward, whereas they seem to be dropping back over the last few rounds. Team 18. So in practice, I just thought another enduro and another time Team 18 are just chasing their tails with random issues in the car. It was Dave Reynolds' car. Yeah, it just seemed to have random issues during practice. Anyway, really anonymous day from these guys, which means probably not a lot went wrong in the race. Anton, 10th at the end of the day. It's not bad having, you know, top 10 finish in an enduro. Reynolds was 13th. It's all right. It was anonymous. They didn't have a heap of pace. Harry Jones looked really good out there. He, you know, didn't, from what I recall, didn't put a foot wrong. Yeah, I thought he did really well. Dick Johnson Racing. Well, a tale of two halves for these guys. The men of the moment taking another enduro win, while the other car. Anyway, Hazelwood, just, yeah, really good. Good start, slowly worked his way forward, got into the lead on lap 15, learnt from last year how aggressive Jamie was, and yeah, he just bided his time, got past, basically never headed from that point on. There was a little moment where it looked like Waters was going to challenge towards the end of the race, but it seemed that Kostecki had him covered. Yeah, these guys, the favourites heading into Bathurst now, it was just, yeah, it was classic Brodie kind of day. Yeah, and he seems to have someone with him at the moment in Todd that, yeah, just they're doing a brilliant job. Everything. Anyway, the other car, yeah. Qualifying, Will Davison, there was only 3 wheels on the wagon and it got stuck in the pits. He only got back out because, you know, Triple Eight gave them a hand. Yeah. Tony D got a 5-second penalty for something with Holdsworth. They got a drive-through penalty for pit lane limiter breach. They finished 21st. Just... It's very disappointing when the other car's off winning the race. Are they throwing all the resources at one car? I wouldn't have thought so, but yeah. How else do you explain it at the moment? Walkinshaw and Andretti United. Now, with the Mustangs being so strong this weekend, these guys should have been challenging for the win. With Sam Scafaldi, he had to raise, that's the engineer on the Chaz's car. He had to rush home for a family matter over the weekend, so Carl Foe took over engineering the car. They got a 2-place grid penalty for impeding Stanaway in qualifying. Woody ran off in the top 10 shootout, so he could have been on the front row. He ended up starting 10th. Did that impact everything and mean they just didn't seem to have the pace of those kind of front-running guys? Woody ended up 6th at the end of the day. Chaz was 8th at the end of the day. This has also jumped Woody. You know, he's 8th in the championship. Chaz is locked into the finals. Woody's position is looking pretty good. But as I said, on a day where the Mustangs were dominant, they were the 4th and 5th best Mustangs out there. They should at least be challenging with the, you know, kind of those top 3. Instead, they were kind of playing second fiddle to them. Tickford. Yeah, Moff, the start. That was probably the best start of everyone out there. And yeah, then he started to slip back and had another one to have a Woody off. Yeah, that long right hand sweeping bend. Yeah, then Randall, I expected him to kind of get in the car and start pushing back forward because, yeah, the CCR definitely had a lot of pace. Didn't really seem to push forward. Ended up 9th overall. Waters and Winterbottom, what could go wrong with putting this pair together? They were the best of the rest. For a moment, they looked like they were going to challenge for the win, but yeah, it's got to be disappointing when it's like so close yet so far away, especially in these longer endurance races. Like, you know, Cam's come up a couple of times short at Bathurst now. You just have to go, what do I have to do to kind of win one of these? Yeah, I'm sick of, and it's not like he's coming second by 20 seconds or whatever. Like, oh, it was close. Yeah, anyway, yeah, they are looking good for Bathurst, which is good to see. Grove Racing, once again, Kai Allen's qualifying was a bit ordinary, and they were the first to kind of jump into that off strategy, with Dale Wood coming in lap 16 for fuel and tyres. Yeah, so then get the co-driver laps over a little bit earlier. Having said that, 15th in the race, yeah, but he's into the top 10. So, you know, silver linings and all that. Tander, bit of a slow start to the race. He was probably a little bit cautious where he could have been a bit more aggressive. Gave Murray a little bit of a nudge going into the hairpin, and then he tried to hang back so that he didn't, you know, bump and run him. And yeah, a few guys kind of swamped him, but even in his own words, then he said, I was just kind of cruising around and after the pit stops and everything, and then we were third, and he's like, how did we get there? Yeah, and then they ran third. You know, that's typical of what happens with Garth Tander in endurance event. You kind of get on the podium. Yeah, they're another looking really good for Bathurst. I think they're just going to get stronger and stronger. And at this rate, both cars are going to be in the finals. 888. Normally, it's just, what do you say? It's like pole, win, win, win. And yeah, then that fuel stop happened. So, yeah, well, probably it all started going downhill for them, as I said, with that, you know, Whincup giving Brown a touch, or giving Pye a touch up with that testing the safety car thing. Yeah, which then Brown didn't qualify very well. They seemed to fix that car overnight, though. Sunday, it was really good. We just saw Pye and then Brown get in, and they just moved forward in the race. They won the Chev Cup in 4th. Some would say that was the best they could do with the advantage the Mustangs had over the weekend. That's all in jest, people. Yeah, don't. I'm only making jokes about the whole Parity thing at the moment, okay? Yeah, I was very happy to see Mustangs win over the weekend. Anyway, yeah, Whincup Feeney, fuel flow problem meant Jamie had to do an extra stop, ended up doing 55 laps, the most of any co-driver. I'm not sure if that was like more than some of the main drivers, but anyway, it would have had to have been. It'd be interesting to go back through on that. But yeah, he did more laps in the car than what Feeney did in the end. Not sure why, but yeah, they just didn't kind of move forward after that. Doesn't hurt him at the end of the day. It's not like it wrecks Jamie's legacy or anything, having another bad endurance event. But yeah, I suppose the good signs for the team, even with all the issues, the wild card still finished quite reasonably. And yeah, Brown and Pye, they just raced forward. If they'd been able to qualify that car reasonably, they would have been in that fight for the win. Even if they'd just been in the back half of the top 10, I think they would have been in the fight for the win. But yeah, but Bathurst coming up for the Red Bull fans, you'd be hoping all of the bad luck is kind of out of the way and they have a clean run at Bathurst. So yeah, we've got a few more cars in the fight there. Anyway, I had some questions before the weekend, so now we have some answers for them. Can anyone challenge 88? Yes. The number 38, no problem at all. Yeah, of course, the fuel flow issues aside, there was some other cars looking pretty good this weekend. Who will be the lead Mustang? Well, it's Brodie and Todd, but very closely followed by the number 6 Waters and Winterbottom car, and then of course the 19 of Payne and Tander. Looks like that we will have a good battle at Bathurst, and I expect the WAU guys to be kind of in that fight as well. Plus then we bring in, you know, the Triple Eight guys, potentially some MSRs. Could be a really good job, a battle at Bathurst. Any other Camaros in the challenge? Kind of, but not really. Yeah, could be a battle for them next year. Do the new safety car rules make sense? No one, and people crash into each other. Will a co-driver shine? Job Stewart at the moment, I'm naming him as my standout of the co-driver ranks. I think Harry Jones did a good job for what I was expecting of him, but yeah, Job Stewart was the one for me. I'd love to see a bit more data on that, but yeah, leading the wildcard charge, yeah, of course it was going to be the 888 one. Who else was it going to be? So that's my Bend review. Down in the comments, let me know what you thought of the racing over the weekend. Yes, it was racing at the Bend. We kind of expected it, and that's what we got. Yeah, so bring on Bathurst now. Anyway, until next time, I'm still Dave, and I'll catch you later.